Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange.
Yo, did you hear what just happened? After months of going ghost, like vanishing without a trace, Diddy just popped back up in the US, like, man really touched down like he never had helicopters over his house, lawsuits piling up, or half the internet calling for his cancellation. But here's the craziest part, the timing. His name's been all over federal court documents, people are flipping on him left and right, and now he decides to come home? Something is not adding up here. And it's not just fans asking questions. There are whispers. People in the industry are nervous.
Now, as far as jury selection goes, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that both sides expect to have all of this done in the matter of 3 days. Now, given just how high profile this trial is, I was kind of stunned that they seem very confident that they will be able to seat a jury in that amount of time.
Some say he's back to cut a deal. Others think he's about to disappear again. But this time, for good. So what's really going on behind the scenes? Who's protecting him? And why does this feel more like the setup to Act 2 than the end of the story? Yeah, we're diving all the way in. Let's go. All right, let's rewind for a second because the Diddy situation didn't just pop out of nowhere. This has been building, and the receipts? They're insane. It all started unraveling when federal agents raided not one, but 2 of Diddy's mega mansions. One in Los Angeles, the other in Miami.
One thing that really stands out that she says is that at one point Diddy had a knife inside her mouth and then says, "I'm going to give you a Glasgow smile," which is, you know, slitting someone's cheeks. But he's warned against it by a member of his team.
We're not talking about a quiet search warrant. This was tactical gear, helicopters overhead, guns drawn, agents in full FBI raid mode storming his properties like it was an episode of Narcos. And guess what? His sons were reportedly home at the time. That alone had social media in a full-blown meltdown. People were posting footage of black SUVs, armored vehicles, and choppers hovering over Diddy's estate like it was a war zone. But that was just the first wave, because then came the lawsuits, and whew, they hit hard.
At trial, Combs will ditch the jail garb and wear ordinary clothes, as his lawyers argue the evidence shows consenting adults being intimate in their own way.
Multiple women stepped forward, accusing Diddy of everything from sexual assault to trafficking, drugging, and even coercion. We're talking decades of alleged abuse. Some of these lawsuits had chilling detail. Stories about locked hotel rooms, hush money, NDAs, secret parties with rules nobody could talk about. One of the first and biggest bombshells came from Cassie, his former longtime partner, who accused him of years of abuse, violence, and control. And when that case settled within 24 hours, that's when people really started side-eyeing the situation. Because you don't settle that fast unless there's something to lose.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings.
From there, it just snowballed. One lawsuit turned into 2, then 3, then 4. Each one added new layers. New victims, new stories, new accusations. Suddenly, Diddy, who used to be one of the most untouchable moguls in the game, was being painted as the ringleader of something way darker than anyone ever imagined. And yet, the industry? Crickets. There was a brief wave of social media outrage, sure, but where were the A-listers? The same people who'll cancel someone for a bad tweet or an offhand comment stayed dead silent when it came to Diddy. No open letters, no public statements, no interviews.
The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to exploit both women and men for decades.
Just this weird wall of silence, like people were scared to even say his name. Some fans started calling it Harvey Weinstein 2.0, wondering if the same protection systems were at play. Blogs went wild. TMZ ran Diddy nonstop for weeks. TikTok creators dug up old videos that now looked a whole lot creepier. And yet, despite the media firestorm, Diddy himself, poof, gone. No interviews, no rebuttals, no damage control press run, just nothing. And now, after all of that, he shows up back in the US like nothing happened? Yeah.
This is going to be such a massive trial, like maybe the biggest Hollywood trial. God knows which way it's going to go. Is it going to go on for weeks?
Oh, for sure, weeks.
You see why people are losing their minds over this. All right, so here's where things get even weirder. After months of total silence, zero public sightings, and what felt like a vanishing act straight out of a movie, Diddy just shows up. No warning, no headlines teasing a comeback. Just boom, he's spotted at JFK Airport, touching down like he's returning from a weekend getaway instead of hiding out during a full-blown legal meltdown. And here's the thing, it wasn't some flashy entrance with paparazzi and fanfare. Nope, it was quiet, like suspiciously quiet.
We have the latest from federal court in the Sean Combs criminal case. Status of jury selection, what Diddy's going to be wearing, violation of a gag order, rejecting a plea offer.
Black SUV waiting, hoodie pulled low, no entourage, no publicist, just him, looking low-key and trying to blend into the background. But in 2025, you can't blend in when you're Diddy and the feds just raided your homes. Someone caught the footage, someone leaked the customs logs, and suddenly, everyone knew. And the timing? Way too perfect. Just days after one of the major cases against him got quietly dismissed, like barely even covered by the news, he's back on U.S. soil.
Diddy's lawyers had argued that he had made good faith efforts by showing up in New York, ready to surrender to face these charges, but prosecutors said that he could not be trusted, that he has a history of trying to intimidate witnesses, including some who are going to be witnesses in this case.
Some people think it was strategic, like he was waiting for just the right moment when the headlines cooled off and the legal noise died down. Others think he was advised to stay out of the country until it was safe to return. Either way, this didn't feel random. This felt calculated. There are even rumors swirling that he didn't land on a commercial airline, but came in on a private jet, unregistered flight paths, third-party pilots, the whole secret billionaire playbook. One blog even claims he landed hours before the media knew, giving him enough time to disappear into one of his hidden safe houses before word spread. But guess what really got people talking? Apparently, someone spotted a familiar face at the airport waiting for him. Not a family member, not a manager, an attorney, one who's known for handling high-profile plea deals and federal negotiations. That's right, people are already speculating this wasn't a comeback. It was a chess move. So now the internet's on fire asking, is Diddy back to reclaim his empire? Or did he just return to wrap something up before disappearing again? And that leads us to the bigger question. Where's he really been this whole time? All right, so let's talk about the disappearance. Because for someone as high profile as Diddy, the fact that he went completely off-grid during the loudest scandal of his life, that's not normal. That's not just laying low. That's orchestrated silence. After the raids, lawsuits, and Cassie's explosive allegations hit the internet, Diddy basically vanished. No social media posts, no sightings, no tour stops, no studio pics, not even a cryptic Instagram story. For a guy who built his career on being everywhere, all at once, that's major. So where did he go? Well, there are a lot of theories. Some say he was chilling in the Bahamas, staying on a friend's private estate where paparazzi can't even get within a mile. Others claim he fled to Dubai, which, by the way, doesn't have an extradition treaty with the US. That's a major red flag, especially when you've got federal investigations breathing down your neck. And then there's the private jet theory. A few aviation watchers on social media started tracking unmarked Gulfstreams and Bombardiers leaving Florida airspace right after the raid. One jet flew to the Caribbean, sat idle for weeks, then bounced to Europe. No passenger manifest. But rumor has it, Diddy was on that plane. And honestly, that wouldn't even be surprising. Because while the mainstream press stopped covering him after the initial chaos, people online didn't stop watching. TikTokers were analyzing luxury hotel selfies from random influencers, trying to spot him in the background. Reddit threads claimed he was seen in Paris under a fake name. A video even surfaced showing a man who looked just like him boarding a yacht in Mykonos, but it was blurry, grainy, and gone within hours. The craziest part? His inner circle stayed silent the entire time. No denials, no updates, not even a "he's doing fine" from his usual PR team. It's like the whole operation shut down. And that's when people started whispering, maybe this wasn't a vacation. Maybe this was a strategic disappearance. Was he dodging subpoenas, avoiding interviews, hiding from the feds, or just waiting for the smoke to clear? Whatever it was, it worked. Because now he's back, the headlines have cooled off, and people are left asking, did Diddy just pull off the smoothest PR ghosting in music industry history? But hold up. Just because he's back doesn't mean people are welcoming him with open arms. All right, so now that Diddy's back on US soil, you'd think the industry would either rally behind him or distance themselves completely, right? But what we're seeing is way more awkward silence than open support, and that silence is loud. Let's be real. This is a guy who used to be everywhere. Diddy was hip-hop royalty. You couldn't go to a fashion week, a Grammy party, or a VIP lounge without bumping into him or someone dropping his name. And yet now, nobody's saying a word. It's like all of Hollywood hit mute, even his day ones. People like French Montana, DJ Khaled, even Jay-Z. Not a peep. No public defense. No welcome home post. No industry pushback against the allegations. Just crickets. And that silence? It's not by accident. Sources inside the music world are saying a lot of people are scared to be associated with him right now. Not because they know something for sure, but because they don't know what's coming next. It's like everyone's waiting for the other shoe to drop. And nobody wants to be standing next to Diddy when it does. Meanwhile, a few voices are starting to speak up, but not in the way he'd want. Just last week, a clip of Charlamagne Tha God resurfaced, where he questioned why so many major artists were staying silent about the allegations. He didn't name names, but the message was clear. If this was anyone else, y'all would have canceled them already. And that got traction. A lot of traction. And then there's Mark Wahlberg, who made headlines by saying the industry needs to stop protecting predators just because they're powerful. He didn't say Diddy outright, but come on. The timing? The context? Everybody knew who he meant. Even YouTubers and commentary creators who usually stay neutral are going in. Some are breaking down Diddy's connections to other powerful figures. Others are asking the hard questions. Who knew what? For how long? And why was everyone so afraid to speak up? But the biggest red flag? Sponsors are backing away. Quietly. No announcements. No statements. But if you look closely, brand collaborations, ad campaigns, and business ventures with Diddy's name on them, they've disappeared. Websites scrubbed. Partnerships ended. Some brands even disabled comments under posts featuring his old music. This isn't a wait-and-see situation anymore. This is the industry pulling out. Slowly, but surely. So if you're wondering whether Diddy can bounce back from this, let's just say the silence isn't helping. Now the real question is, why now? Why return after all this time? Right when the lawsuits start quieting down. All right, so now we've got to ask the million-dollar question. Why now? Why did Diddy choose this exact moment to reappear? Because let's be honest, this doesn't feel random. This feels calculated. He's been off the grid for months, dodging headlines, ducking subpoenas, avoiding the media entirely, and suddenly, bam, he lands back in the US like it's just another Tuesday? Nah, there's something deeper going on here. And the internet? Already spinning with theories? One of the biggest ones? He's cutting a deal. Some people think Diddy's return is tied to some kind of hush-hush cooperation agreement. Maybe he's giving up info. Maybe he's flipping on someone bigger. It wouldn't be the first time someone powerful in the industry made their legal problems go away by helping the feds behind the scenes. Think about it. He lands after a key case gets dismissed. That's not coincidence. That's choreography. Another theory? He was advised to return before things get worse. Some legal experts believe staying out of the country too long starts looking shady, like you're dodging justice. If federal investigators were about to escalate things, returning voluntarily could make it easier to negotiate from a cooperative position. In other words, show face now so you don't end up in cuffs later. Then there's the image rehab theory. His team might be trying to test the waters. Like, let's get you back in the US. Keep it low-key, see how people react. If it doesn't blow up, maybe we can slowly rebuild. It's risky. But if they think public interest is dying down, they might be gambling on short attention spans and distraction from other scandals. But here's the wildest theory floating around. He's planning to disappear again. Some folks think this whole return was just a pit stop. Handle business, move some assets, sign papers, maybe even attend a few off-the-record meetings, and then dip out again, for good. Whether that means vanishing to a private island or relocating somewhere with no extradition, the theory says this was just a smoke and mirrors move before a final escape. And honestly, with how quiet he's been and how careful this comeback was staged, none of these theories sound that far-fetched. But let's not forget, just because he's back doesn't mean he's in the clear. All right, so now that Diddy's back in the US, what happens next? Because let's be real, this isn't over, not even close. Just because he walked through customs without handcuffs doesn't mean the heat's gone. In fact, legal insiders are saying the federal investigation into Diddy is still active. The raids weren't just for show. When the feds roll in with helicopters and tactical teams, they're not fishing. They're building something big, and that takes time. And while some lawsuits have been settled or dismissed, new ones keep popping up, almost like clockwork. Allegations spanning decades. New names, new cities, even new attorneys stepping in who specialize in high-profile criminal prosecution. That doesn't scream case closed. That screams bigger wave incoming. Now here's the thing the public doesn't always see. When it comes to federal cases like this, especially involving trafficking, abuse, or potential RICO-level conspiracy, it can take months or even years before charges are filed. They gather evidence, flip insiders, follow the money, quietly, strategically. And the worst part? You don't even know it's coming until they knock on your door at 6 a.m. So Diddy being back might not be a power move. It might be his last move before the storm hits. Then there's the music industry fallout. Even if Diddy avoids prison, he might still be done. Brands are distancing. Artists aren't working with him. His public image is in freefall. And no matter how many years you put into your legacy in today's world, you're one viral clip away from being untouchable, in the worst way. People are also asking, will more victims speak out now that he's back? Historically, when someone re-emerges like this, it triggers more movement behind the scenes. Lawyers start reaching out. Documents start circulating. Victims who were scared before might suddenly feel emboldened. And let's not forget, there are journalists digging into this too. If even one credible expose drops, that's game over. And what about the public? The court of public opinion doesn't have a statute of limitations. Diddy might be home, but trust? That's shattered. This isn't just about crime, it's about power, influence, manipulation. People are watching closely now. And the question on everyone's mind? Is Diddy about to face the real consequences? Or is this just Act 2 of the cover-up? Diddy's back in the US, lawsuits still circling, the feds watching, and the industry eerily quiet. After months of silence, disappearing acts, and courtroom drama, he just strolls off a private jet like nothing happened? Come on. You don't go dark for that long and come back unless there's something bigger brewing behind the scenes. And let's not forget, this man's not just fighting for his legacy anymore. He's fighting to stay out of prison, to stay relevant, to stay safe, honestly. Because the way people are talking, the smoke hasn't cleared. If anything, the storm's just getting started. So the real question now is, what do you think is going on? Was this comeback a calculated move to start fresh? Or is Diddy laying the groundwork for a quiet exit before it all explodes again? Drop your take in the comments. Do you think he's actually in the clear? Or is he just buying time before the next scandal drops? And trust, this story, it's far from over. We're watching every move, every headline, every leak. So if you want the next update the second it hits, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, and keep your eyes locked. Because whatever Diddy's planning behind the scenes,